Let's start, right? All right. So hope so. All of you have still energy. We are almost done. So grab the drink for this chat. Shortly, let me see. Oh yeah. So shortly about myself. Again, my name is Eva Baluchova. I am a digital lead, employer branding strategist at Peoplefinders. I'm responsible for overseeing employer branding and recruitment marketing initiatives for our clients. So this includes developing, implementing, executing marketing strategies, analyzing data to optimize recruitment marketing campaigns. Besides that, I am a solo entrepreneur of wearebridge.io, through which I teach and train talent acquisition team. And just recently, I have published my first digital book on copywriting for recruitment. But not only to talk about the work, I am indeed Slovakian, living in Netherlands. Personally, you can connect me with 3B, basketball, books, and beer. I love it. And if we add one more B, I love board games as well, which one you will see later on during the presentation. But enough about me. This is not why you are here. Today, I want to show you a framework, which one I use for employer branding strategies for all my clients. In this brief presentation, I will introduce you all elements that cannot be left out from your strategy. So, but first, very shortly, let's describe what is employer brand. Your employer brand is not your logo, it's not your headlines and taglines, it's not your colors. The employer brand is how someone feels about you and your company based on how you act and how they interact with you. Overall, is it the perception of your organization as a great place to work? So, it's very critical to remember that your employer brand is defined by your employees. We all know, and probably today you already talk about it a lot, why employer branding is important. But if you're still asking why, let's do a short recap. So companies with a strong employer branding have more qualified candidates, lower cost per hire, faster time to hire. They save on salaries. They have increased visibility, increased trust. They have higher employee engagement, lower employee turnover. That's a lot of benefits for the business. It's not rocket science to see it. So I believe that you already all have the buy-in. That's why you're here. So I told you already before that I love board games. So I've decided to show you my framework through the board game table, which introduces you 4 stages. So at the first stage, you have employer branding position. There you start with the beliefs. Why do you exist? What do you stand for? What is your direction? In the second phase, it's an employer branding proposition, where you will define how you will be different, what do you offer, and who is your audience. Third phase is an employer branding personality. Here you will identify how your brand will behave. You're gonna ask yourself a question. Is our brand behaving like a person your audience would love to work and hang out with? Employer brand management is the fourth phase. Once you know how your brand will act, you will figure out what the brand will say and how you're gonna say it. And after that, the whole recruitment marketing fun starts. So let's have a closer look at the game itself. So when it comes to strategy, we have to make sure we have to build something bulletproof. Tactics and executions can be improved and changed, but strategies should stay constant. Each element you can see in this slide is important area that illustrates specific consideration. Employer brand strategies are generally narrow. EVP properties may be well developed at some companies, but they might be outdated if the organization hasn't considered the influence of emerging trends. Keep in mind that your employer branding strategy needs to mirror the talent market to be competitive, need to mirror the shape of HR and talent management you have in your company to deliver on promise consistently. And third, need to mirror the promise made by your company brand in order to retain brand integrity. So when we start playing, we get to the first phase, and that's about building your brand heart, brand core. And that's employer branding position. Brand must be clear on their purpose and on their values. No sugarcoating here, full stop, this is the must. Why? Because the talent will find themselves in your purpose, especially now with the generational shift, when the workforce will be over 50% full of millennials and Gen Zs. And this generation want to connect with the purpose and values because that's important to them. So don't skip this part. And what you want to define here is, why do you exist? What values do you have towards your employees? What do you stand for as an employer? What is your direction as an employer? And again, try to define it from an employer perspective and not who you are or where you're going as a company or as a product. Here, many people doing it wrong. They're just describing mission and vision values of their company, but they don't describing where they go as an employer. Here you can be different. This is your opportunity. So when we have the core, we're gonna build the employer branding proposition. And this is why the audience should choose you over others. What attributes will your brand be recognized for? What are your unique selling points? The goal of employer branding is to target an audience so they can choose your company over competitors. And it does through messaging, visual appearance, and delivering overall candidate and employee experience. So the first step in exceeding your talent expectation is to know those expectations. So if you don't understand what your audience expect, you will never be persuasive and never different. Because if you have a proposition that is not relevant to your talent audience, then they will not choose you, they will not stay too long at your company. Be relevant. And only differentiate your brand with attributes that your candidates value. Know your audience and speak their love language. And you may be thinking now, yes, Eva, we know the theory, but how you can be different. All right, so let's look at this slide. This is what I'm basically doing. I look at these 9 core elements and I look at the client and the information I have about the company. Then I choose main 3 to 4 proposition elements that my client or your company is excelling at, or at least it's good enough. And then I have those 4 elements, and then I think about one element, which one is above them all, only one. With that, you choose your core position. Does your company have a great mission, good customer value, sense of social responsibility? Maybe then your core element is a purpose. Is it the heart of your business, performance, result orientation, focus on quality, commitment to excellence? Perhaps then your core element, your core position is performance. Is the maybe most important thing about your company high future earnings, a competitive base salary, great benefits, performance bonuses? Then your core is reward. As you can see, again, we have 9 the main values, main elements, and you have to choose that one you will be on high level different. Again, understand that not everything is valuable to every worker. So again, understanding your audience is very important. Then what I do, I have that value proposition, that one main element, then another 3 supporting element, and then I'm gonna breaking it down by finding what's unique. Because Many companies maybe have several elements that you choose, but what really makes you unique is the experience in your company. And this is the way how you're gonna find it. So there are many attributes, which one impacting talent choice to stay, leave, or work at the best. So I want you to look at this list in this slide. And what you want to do to identify the uniqueness, you want to analyze each of these attributes, and you want to write down and describe how each attribute is being met by your company. In the end, you will look at the whole list of attributes you offer, and you will combine the ideas, and thanks to that, you truly find a unique value proposition. And this is the key step. Be sure to create an exhausting list of possibilities and then begin to combine them. Lastly, and this is what I always do, so I would highly recommend it, is that I as well create what is unique per department, per job function. So when I, for example, am promoting a concrete job, I'm very specific, because being specific, selling to people. So this is the model which one you will eventually have. On top, you have your core position, and that will define your focus. Value proposition are the pillars. They define your employer branding themes and priorities, and together with your unique selling points, they will keep your brand consistent. Once you have that, you can transition into targeted communication and content and action. And that will keep you always relevant. And as we already said before, relevance sells, where irrelevance annoys people. All right, so we now know why we are different and why we are amazing. So the next step is to decide what's the personality and character. You want to think of it like, if you know why you're amazing, what kind of attitude you will add to that amazing. So there are primary two reasons why you really want to find out your brand personality. First is connection. If you don't want your brand to become a commodity, you will need to make a deeper connection with your audience. Second reason why you want to find personality is differentiation. When it comes to standing out in a crowd, employee value proposition can fade with your competitors' one. But personalities, on the other hand, have infinite possibilities. They are not only unique, but they are as well extremely memorable. For example, let's look at the companies like IKEA or Amazon. They have so-called everyman personality. Their brand personality seeks connection and belonging, and it's recognized as supportive, faithful, down to earth, and then their tone of the voice is friendly, humble, authentic. I believe you recognize that when you think of IKEA. And what do you think of company like Nike or Duracell? They have, for example, hero personality. The brand is on mission to make the world a better place. Brand is courageous, bold, and inspirational. Tone of the voice is honest and candid and brave. Do you recognize it in the Nike branding? So I wonder, what character does your employer brand have at the moment? Think of it. And now we put the personality element into our strategy, and then we go to the last phase, and that's the employer branding management. So when you really want to build employer branding strategy that stick, you want to choose human-centered approach. Human-centric approach represents values as transparency, authenticity, and empathy. It is about making a company seem more like a human. It's about creating genuine, long-term relationship with talent so that they will become ambassadors for your company. So how you will do it? First, you will do it through your messaging and through your storytelling. So to be successful, your message needs to be authentic, an accurate representation of organizational culture, shared. Are you comfortable sharing publicly? If not, there must be something wrong. Your messaging needs to be held. That means, are you doing what are you saying you are doing? If not, why you expect others to follow you? And fourth, your message needs to be applied. That means you need to be specific and need to properly articulate what your culture, the employee experience, candidate experience looks like. Then we have, let's look like this. Both what you say and how you say it, the body language, are important factors in making a positive impression on people. So in employer branding, think of a brand identity as the body language of your brand. And I don't have much time to tell you more about this, but pay close attention to the look and feel of your competitor's employer brand. So you can consciously choose colors, visual design elements, photography that clearly help people recognize your brand from their brand. And the last element, which one you cannot forget about, is the brand present. It's that recruitment, marketing, and advertisement. Many of us have a wrong perception that the brand awareness creates brand loyalty, but that's not completely true. Being present in others' life thus creates loyalty. Being present builds brand memories, and you need to nourish them by communication across all touch points. But remember, we're forgetting memories. So if you want to maintain those memories in your talent audience, repetition and consistency are your go-to principles. So we are at the end of the game, and here we can see the final scorecard that you have to fill in. We have a brand core. That's your branding heart, the way you go. We have positioning strategy, is how you want to be perceived, the reason people choose you over and over. Get clear on it. And then, and only then, is how you will going to present yourself. You give it a personality, you clarify the message you want to send, story you want to tell. And then come up with the look and feel that represents all of that. But remember, brand needs to be consistent to build reliability and trust, but flexible to adapt to different audiences. So we are done, I promise. So if you want to learn more about this framework, get in touch with me. Or coming weeks, I will be publishing new digital ebook on exactly this topic. So follow me on wearebridge.io or on my LinkedIn. I will be happy to be connected with you. So thank you very much for giving me all the attention. And I hope you have still a lot of energy for the last talk, I think.
Thank you, Eva. Întrebări?
Hi, Eva. A couple of questions from our online attendees. Knowing your audience is not that easy when having different talent groups with different profiles. Isn't it going to become confusing if I change tone and way of communicating for different audience types?
Very good question. The model, which one I choose you, that you have a core elements and the value proposition will make sure you are consistent across the audiences. What will be different is the unique selling point. So why this is important is that, for example, juniors value different things than the seniors. Developers appreciate different things than salespeople. So you want to communicate that across the audiences. Tone of the voice. I'm not sure if I'm changing it too often based on the audience. I think the unique selling points are the proposition I will be adapting towards the audience. Did it answer the question?
I think it, yeah. And another one. How do you measure if the way you want the brand to be seen is also the way people actually look at it?
Yeah. So I measure it through qualitative interviews, for example. So I would be looking into candidate feedbacks, employee feedbacks. I will be talking with the recruiters because they mostly know the most about how the brand is seen. Same times, I will be asking internally some group of people and asking, showing them the brand elements and getting their feedbacks. But definitely go ask recruiters. They know the best on how the audience is perceiving your brand. But same times you can see data as time they spend on your career website, for example, how long they read their job description, how far they read within the career pages. There you can see how they are engaged with what you are offering. So if they are bouncing back very fast, you can really easily assume that it's not engaging. Basically, you want to keep them on your website as long as possible or as much the reading time is estimated.
Well, thank you, Eva. Thank you so much, and see you again soon.
Yeah,
Thank you.
see you. Thank you very much for having me.